The mission to Aetion 9. The ice fields of Aetion 9 stretched endlessly beneath a violet sky, shards of frozen methane glittering like gemstones under the light of its twin suns. Commander Rhett Calder stood at the ridge of a jagged glacier, his breathing shallow inside his exosuit. His visor registered sub-zero temperatures, and his oxygen monitor ticked down at a steady pace. He'd been trained for this. He'd been bred for this. The year was 3098, and humanity had long since scattered across the stars. The unified Terran Directorate ruled the colonies with an iron fist, declaring that no non-human sentience could be tolerated. Assimilate or erase. That was the directive. Rhett had carried it out countless times. But Aetion 9 was different. The planet was not just another frozen mining rock. Beneath its icy crust, deep within geothermal caverns, lay the last refuge of the Zyrene, a race once thought extinct, tall, luminous beings with translucent skin and psychic resonance that pulsed in ultraviolet frequencies. Humanity called them sirens. Legend said their voices could pull a man's soul apart and rebuild it again. Rhett's orders were simple. Infiltrate, locate the Zyrene Hive, eliminate their leader, the so-called Queen of Light, and extract her core for study. He'd landed alone. A one-man strike. Clean kill. But as he descended deeper into the crevasses of the glacier, the mission began to twist into something else entirely. To the echoing caves. The deeper Rhett ventured, the more his sensors faltered. The icy walls shimmered with faint pulses, bioluminescent patterns that seemed almost deliberate, like a language written in light. Base command, Rhett murmured into his comms. No signal response down here. Proceeding on local guidance. Static. He adjusted his wrist console and followed the beacon that glowed weakly on his HUD, a triangulated signal of Zyrene energy. The caves opened into a massive hollow chamber, a cathedral of ice, its vaulted ceiling filled with what looked like suspended crystals. But they were not crystals. They were cocoons. Within them, the faint shapes of Zyrene bodies floated, curled in slumber, each one emitting soft waves of ultraviolet radiance. Rhett's pulse quickened. This was not a military base. It was a nursery. A whisper brushed across his mind. Faint, curious, distinctly not human. Who are you, Metal One? Why do you carry silence in your heart? Rhett froze. The voice wasn't coming through his comms. It was in his head. He tightened his grip on his plasma rifle. Identify yourself. You came with death in your hands. You are not the first. The floor shimmered. Light rippled through the chamber like a living tide, and from the darkness emerged her. Tall, radiant, eyes like violet stars, her body encased in a translucent membrane that shifted with inner light. The Queen of the Zyrene. Her presence was overwhelming, not just visually but psychically. Rhett felt memories surface. Faces, screams, the countless exterminations he'd carried out for the Directorate. Every atrocity seemed reflected in her gaze. You wear a mask of glass and steel, she said into his mind. Do you fear the air we breathe? Or the truth it carries? Stand down, Rhett barked, raising his weapon. You are under Terran authority. The Queen tilted her head. A sound like a sigh rippled through the chamber. Terran authority died the day it forgot its own soul. Before he could react, the floor beneath him pulsed. A wave of kinetic force slammed through his armor, disarming him instantly. His plasma rifle flew across the chamber and embedded itself in an icy wall. He stumbled, knees buckling. The Queen approached, her light casting long, rippling shadows. She stopped an arm's length away and said, aloud this time, her voice soft and melodic yet commanding. Remove your helmet. 3. The face beneath the glass. Rhett hesitated, every protocol screaming at him to refuse. The Zyrene atmosphere was toxic to human lungs. He could feel the traces of ammonia and crystalline particulates in the air even through his filters. "I remove this, I die," he warned. "No," said the Queen, stepping closer. "If you were truly human, you would. But you are not what you believe yourself to be." He frowned. "What are you talking about?" Her eyes pulsed brighter, scanning him. No, reading him. His biometric sensors flared, detecting psychic intrusion. His vision blurred. Flashes of memory erupted behind his eyelids. An explosion on Delta 12, a crash, a surgical bay, a cold voice saying, "Rebuild him. We need him operational." The realization hit like a blow. His earliest memory, waking up in a military lab, was not the beginning. It was the restart. He wasn't just enhanced. He was reborn. "Remove your helmet," the Queen repeated, softer this time, almost pleading. "See what you have forgotten." Rhett's hand trembled as it reached for the release latch. With a hiss, the seals disengaged. Cold air bit his skin as the helmet lifted free. The Queen froze. Her radiant eyes widened in shock, and the psychic hum of the chamber fell silent. She took a step back, trembling, the first flicker of fear Rhett had seen in her. "It cannot be," she whispered. "You bear the face of Kaeldar, the last of our protectors." Rhett blinked, confused. "Who?" She circled him slowly, studying his face with something between wonder and sorrow. "He was one of us once. A bridge between our kind and yours. A union of light and flesh. He gave his life to save both worlds when your directorate came for us." "That's impossible," Rhett muttered. "I'm human. Born on Mars." "You were born of memory fragments and stolen flesh," the Queen interrupted. "They took what was left of Kaeldar and made you their weapon." The words shattered something inside him. He staggered back, helmet clattering to the ground. "No. I've killed your kind. Hundreds." "You were killing your own reflection," she said, voice trembling. "And they made you believe it was duty. For the ghost in his veins." Rhett sank to his knees. His breathing came in ragged gasps. He could feel it now, a faint warmth in his chest, a subtle hum beneath his skin. His HUD flickered, displaying alien glyphs he'd never seen before. His blood was glowing faintly violet. What did they do to me?" "They erased your resonance," said the Queen. "They buried your Zyrene essence under machinery and orders. But it was never gone." She knelt before him, eyes softening. "Do you feel the hum? That is your link to the weave, our collective consciousness. You were part of it once." Her fingers brushed his cheek, warm, not cold, and a surge of energy flooded his mind. Images cascaded through him. A world of crystalline oceans, twin moons rising over luminous spires, a people singing light into matter. And in the center of it all, Kaeldar, his face identical to Rhett's, standing beside the Queen, smiling. He had loved her. And then fire. Terran warships blotting out the sky. Kaeldar throwing himself into the blast to save her Hive. The memory ended, leaving Rhett gasping, trembling. "I remember," he whispered. "Yes," the Queen said, her voice breaking. "You were the one who saved us, and the one they turned into our destroyer." 5. The Director's arrival. A violent tremor shook the cavern. Rhett's comms flared to life. Static and then a cold, familiar voice. "Commander Calder, signal reacquired. We have your coordinates." "Excellent work." Rhett froze. "Admiral Voss, your life signs indicate proximity to the target. Proceed with termination." Rhett looked up at the Queen. She didn't move, she only watched him, sorrow in her eyes. "Admiral," Rhett said slowly, "there's something you need to know." "The Zyrene are a contamination," Voss interrupted. "We don't negotiate with subhuman species." "Execute your orders, Commander." Rhett hesitated. "Now, Calder," Voss snapped. "That's a direct command." Rhett clenched his fists. He could feel the psychic hum growing inside him, the weave awakening. Every Zyrene cocoon around him began to glow brighter, resonating with his heartbeat. "I'm not your weapon anymore," Rhett said quietly. Static filled the calm, then Voss's voice, icy with fury. "Then you're a traitor." Moments later, the cavern's ceiling exploded. Dropships roared through the breach, disgorging Terran troopers in heavy armor. Plasma fire filled the chamber. The Queen cried out, raising a shield of light that rippled across the air. Bolts of energy splashed harmlessly against it, but she was weakening. Rhett grabbed his fallen rifle, not to fire at her but at the invaders. "Get behind me. You cannot stop them alone," she said. "I'm not alone anymore." He raised his weapon, but instead of bullets, light burst from his hands. Pure violet light. The energy rippled outward, disarming soldiers, melting metal, freezing time itself in radiant suspension. The weave sang through him, thousands of Zyrene voices uniting in one resonance. The Queen's eyes widened. "Kaeldar." Rhett stood amid the chaos, no longer human, no longer machine, something in between. A bridge reborn. 6. The choice the Terran assault faltered. Troopers stumbled back, blinded by the luminescent storm. Rhett turned toward the hovering command ship breaking through the ice above. Through his visor feed, Admiral Voss stared down at him, pale and livid. "You don't know what you're doing, Calder," Voss shouted through the comlink. "That creature has infected your mind. You think she loves you. She'll unmake you." Rhett looked at the Queen. "Is he right?" Her expression was unreadable. "Love cannot unmake what truth has already rebuilt." Voss's voice cut in again. "Destroy her and come home, Commander. I can restore your status. I can give you your life back." Rhett's gaze hardened. "My life never belonged to you." He raised his hands, channeling the full force of the weave. A beam of violet energy lanced upward, piercing the command ship. The explosion tore through the cavern roof, sending fire and light cascading down like falling stars. Silence followed. The surviving Terran soldiers dropped their weapons, staring in awe. The Queen's shield faded, her glow dimming with exhaustion. Rhett turned to her. "It's over." She smiled faintly. "No, Kaeldar. It has only begun." He stepped closer. "My name is Rhett." She tilted her head. "Then Rhett, will you walk with us into the light? We will rebuild, but not with vengeance. We will show them harmony instead of hate." He looked around, at the awakening cocoons, at the thawing ice. The air shimmered with new warmth, the first dawn breaking through the cracks. "Maybe this time," he said quietly, "we do it right." 7. The awakening of Aetion 9 weeks passed. The Terran Directorate declared Rhett Calder dead in action. Aetion 9 was marked as a quarantine zone, geothermally unstable. No human ship dared return. But beneath the surface, the Zyrene thrived again. Their hives pulsed with life, their light stretching through the tunnels like veins of living energy. Rhett worked beside them, no longer armored, no longer masked. His skin had begun to glow faintly in the dark, the Zyrene essence fully awakened. The Queen walked beside him often, teaching him the old songs of the weave, how to heal with resonance, how to shape light into matter. You were born of two worlds, she told him one evening as they watched the auroras ripple across the ice. Perhaps that is the only kind of being who can save both. Save them? Rhett asked, bitterness lingering. They'd kill us on sight. They fear what they do not understand, she said softly. So teach them. He stared at her for a long moment. And if they never learn? Then we endure, she said. That, too, is victory. He nodded, understanding at last. 8. The return signal one cycle later, a signal pulsed from orbit, a faint Terran distress beacon. A lone shuttle, damaged, drifting toward the planet. Rhett stood at the surface as it crashed into the snow plains. When he pried open the hatch, he found a single survivor, a young human woman in Directorate armor, barely conscious. Who are you? She gasped. Rhett smiled faintly. A friend. She stared at his glowing eyes, at the faint ultraviolet veins beneath his skin. You're one of them. I'm one of us, he said. He carried her to the Queen's sanctuary. When the woman awoke hours later, the Zyrene surrounded her, not with weapons but with open hands and light. For the first time in centuries, a human and a Zyrene shared the same air without fear. 9. The last transmission months later, Rhett sent a transmission into deep space. Encrypted, anonymous, pulsing through old Directorate channels. It contained no coordinates, no threats, only a message. To whoever still listens in the dark, we are not what we were told to be. There is light in the places you were taught to fear. Have seen it. Have become it. My name was Commander Rhett Calder. I was built to destroy. Now I live to remember. The message drifted across the stars. Somewhere someone would hear it. Tend the Queen's farewell years passed. The Queen's radiance began to fade, not from age, but from transformation. Her body, once bound to the weave, began to merge with it, becoming pure energy. I am returning to the source, she told Rhett one final night beneath the shimmering auroras. My time in this form is ending. Rhett took her hands. Then let me go with you. She smiled, shaking her head. Not yet. You still have a bridge to build. Light swelled around her. Her final words echoed not through air but through his soul. You carry both our hearts now. And then she was gone. A wave of light rising into the sky, merging with the aurora until only a faint pulse remained, like a heartbeat in the heavens. 11. The man without a helmet. Years later, travelers from distant colonies would speak of a figure on Aetion 9, a man who walked the ice fields without a helmet, his breath visible in the cold but his skin radiant with warmth. They said he guided lost ships to safety, healed wounded explorers, and vanished whenever they tried to follow him. Some said he was a myth. Others swore they'd seen his face. Human yet luminous, both alien and familiar. And in the frozen winds sometimes they'd hear a whisper. Remove your helmet. You have nothing left to fear.